We are Sinti, Căldărari, Cale, Manuși, Horahane, Lovari, Gurberti, Hitano, Romanicial. We have 100 names, and we are all of them. We are life. Over 1,000 years ago, we traveled countless kilometers to reach Europe. We brought with us the stories of our travels and the wisdom of our ancestors. For centuries, we worked the land, forged metals, and healed bodies and souls. We are family. We are young and old. We are the largest ethnic minority in Europe and a great nation without borders. We are peace. We have never started a war. Yet we have suffered and seen hundreds of thousands of our sisters, brothers, and children die in wars started by others. We are resistance. Throughout our long history, we have resisted the worst injustice. Chains were put on our hands and on our feet. We were enslaved, tortured, murdered, and persecuted. Still today, our communities are segregated. Our houses burned down. Our sisters sterilized, and our children taken away from us. But we are courage. Despite all the violence and hate, we never gave up. We stood up against injustice in the name of freedom. Today, with our heads held high and our hearts resilient, we remain proud of who we are. We are culture. We are the voice of Shaban Bayramovic, Camarón de la Isla, Esma Recepova. We are the music of Django Reinhardt, Žarko Jovanović, Panatsinka, Ion Voicu, Johnny Raducanu. We are the dance of Carmen Amaya. We are the paintings of Seia Stoica, Helios Gomez, Damian Laba. We are the words of Catarina Taicon, Raico Duric, Mateo Maximov, Papusha. We are the wisdom of Nicolae Gheorghe, Shakir Pashov, Jose Heredia Maya, and many, 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 many more. We are Charlie Chaplin, timeless smile. We are justice. We have fought for our rights. On the 8th of April, 1971, we have told the world, enough. We demand respect. That the whole world should know who we are, our real name, and our flag that connects heaven and earth. We are hope. We wish for a Europe free of hatred and prejudice. We call on our non-Roma sisters and brothers to fight alongside us, as we fought alongside them, shoulder to shoulder, for a Europe liberated from hate. We are freedom. This is our moment. It is the time to join forces for a united and strong Roma community, to reclaim our place in history, to demand equality for our sisters and brothers of today and our children of tomorrow. So let's show the whole wild world that we are love. As Chaplin, the great dictator of love, said, We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. The people have the power to make this life free and beautiful. Together, we are power. Let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world. For this is who we are. We are proud Roma.
Good evening and welcome. Laciarate Romale. My name is Jake Bowers. I'm a Romani journalist speaking to you from the UK, the birthplace of Charlie Chaplin, and we are very proud in the English Romani community here that he is one of us. For the next half an hour, we're going to be doing a roundtable discussion about Proud Roma, the film you've just seen, a manifesto of love against hate. And I'd like to introduce you to the creative forces from across Europe that helped to make that stunning piece of cinematography and a message that we hope will go out to Romani homes and communities across Europe, because it is high time that we as a community came together and used our love for ourselves and of each other to combat the hate that sometimes seems all around us. I'd like to introduce you to our panel that we have with us this evening before getting into some questions and some conversation about the film. Firstly, I'd like to introduce Pablo Vega, who is an award-winning director and writer. Pablo is one of the most active Roma artists in Spain, and he joins us from Madrid. Welcome, Pablo.
Thank you so much.
It's so good that you can be here. I'd also like to introduce you to Gonzalo Montaño Peña, who is a writer, a musicologist, and a researcher who specializes in flamenco, who joins us from the Gitano heartland of Andalusia. Welcome, Gonzalo.
Thank you, welcome. Thank you, Jake.
Now, one of the faces, of course, that you'll recognize is the one that you've just seen on screen, is that of Alina Serban, who is an award-winning actress, director, and writer. Her work is driven by a strong sense of social justice and a desire to question prejudice and privilege. And I'm proud to say she's also a graduate of the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts in London, which is where I first met her. Welcome, Alina.
Thank you very much for having me. Hello, everybody.
It's great to have you here. And last but by no means least, Anna Mirga Mirga-Kruszelnicka, who's a deputy director of the European Roma Institute for Arts and Culture. Anna is an anthropologist and a Roma activist from Krakow in Poland with a PhD in social and cultural anthropology. Welcome, Anna.
Good evening, everyone.
And of course, we mustn't forget, although hopefully he's watching, but he's not actually here on the panel tonight, Tony Gabari, who is a model, dancer, and an actor from Madrid, who you've just seen perform as Charlie Chaplin, the little tramp, as he called himself, who seemed, with all of his work, to kind of sum up the human condition, the struggles that we have. So we haven't got much time, so I'm going to just go straight into the questions. And this first one is addressed to you, Pablo, on the inspiration to the film. You describe the film as a manifesto of love against hate. Why did you choose Charlie Chaplin and the Great Dictator to communicate this message? And what do you think Charlie Chaplin would make of Proud Roma?
Well, I had this idea in my head too many years ago. No, the Great Dictator speech is, I think, is the most universal speech that has been made against for hate. From the moment and the Chaplin was Roma, my idea getting more strange because I have always thought that universal sense of the Roma pen is love. Also, when I saw the Proud Roma campaign, I thought it was perfect idea for campaign because Chaplin somehow did make public that he has Romani, maybe or to the fear or reaction. Huh? I don't really know, but although I know that his family and close-up people know he has Romani, but I think is in his heart there was something that led him to do in the old films with the character Charlotte and the activists for the exclusion on the poor class, no? And for language on the smile, it made the world of the time reflection. No? But me, it is not to make to the remake for the Great Dictator, no? No, it's his speech. I did want to pay tribute to him. I think it's within the briefing with this campaign was looking for, and I was perfect, achieved two objectives, no, which we believed in this, no, and one is that make to all of Roma feel prone to the old history of who we are, that we are not afraid of being raised, and that that's well fight together and achieve the dignity and right that the society is still does not give us, no? Mm. And the two is that the non-Roman, the brothers and sisters, now we are on the our history at the day now the injustice that we continue to suffer to the political, and also now that we are the largest minority to in Europe, and that we form part for it, no? That they become aware to the great injustice that was done to all people.
Yes. Thank you. The second question that I have for you, but I wondered if anybody else had a response to it. If by some miracle of reincarnation, Charlie Chaplin would come back to Earth and come and sit in the room with you whilst you were watching that, what do you think he would make of Proud Roma? What do you think he would think of the film?
The Chaplin. Mm. I hope to the Proud in the sky, no, because it's maybe in the film. Putting the character Chaplin is in the sky, no, it's the blue, the sense, you know, maybe it's tribute for that, no, maybe it is in the life when it was in living, he's not possible to activists to directly Romanis, and this in the moment in the film to represent to all Romanis and the character and the expression, you know, and the expression for dance and the expression for smile and the expression for feeling, you know. I think so. Yes, this is the tribute for him.
Okay. Alina, remember when I asked you that question, what do you think Chaplin would make of it? You said you would be terrified.
Yeah, obviously, thinking that this all-time master of acting and directing would be in a room with somebody I appreciate and I look highly to. It would be definitely something that would make me proud as well and terrified, but a good terrified, not a bad terrified.
He would have.
There's a problem.
Whilst I'm with you, Alina, my next question is for you. What do you hope the Proud Roma Free Europe campaign achieves?
In my wildest dreams would be to have people being inspired, both Roma and non-Roma, for the Roma to feel like they should feel worthy, dignified, already by being alive, not just by being Roma, but being alive and human. That's all. We are already worthy. And for the non-Roma to feel inspired to come and join us in this battle.
Mm.
So I see it like something that could work in many various ways. It's not just for me a video only for the Roma, and it's not only for the non-Roma. So I think it's up to many people to watch it and to hopefully receive it in their hearts and in their minds.
Mm. And we also know, Alina, don't we, that many of us have been taught to hide our identity, and we've been made to actively feel ashamed of it. Why, if you were out selling this message, on the doorsteps, in the neighborhoods of Europe, why should Roma feel proud to declare who they are?
It's obviously a very complex question that deserves a complex answer. The first thing that comes to my mind are the youngsters, because obviously I think they are the most vulnerable, and they should be living in a society where they feel, as I said, worthy, respected, beautiful for what they are. So they should already feel proud by even having the chance to be alive. That was another bet that they had to win, right?
Yes.
In the conception. So they should feel proud just by being a human. Mm. And then for being Roma, because we received this gift, this journey, this I don't know what that runs through our veins that we didn't choose, but it takes us to different journeys in our DNAs that come from so far. So I would like them to feel proud by this gift that they received. The gift of understanding that you are not just a citizen, in a country, be it Poland, Spain, Romania, UK, you're not just the citizen, but you received another goodie bag from the divine. And in that goodie bag, and this goodie bag comes from far, far away. And only this idea that you have been chosen to receive some diversity is, I think, a reason in itself to feel worthy, to feel just good for what you are. I say this especially for the young Roma I see even in my family that are still struggling and that are made to feel not normal, not beautiful enough, that the standards are still the white standards. having whiter skin as possible, blending in and all that. This campaign, hopefully, would make people understand that it's definitely more richer to have so many cultures around, to hear about other people's cultures, instead of just blending in. We just hope, and we try our best.
You know the Black Liberation Movement used to have a song, in Seoul, "Say it loud, I'm Black and I'm proud." We need to say it loud, I'm Roma and proud.
Yeah.
We need a bit more of that. Let me come to you next, Gonzalo, because you are the guy who put pen to paper to reinterpret this original speech, which is you can see it on the internet. It's been seen millions of times. It's sometimes referred to as the greatest speech ever made. What was it like to work on such a famous speech from the Great Dictator?
Yeah. For me, it was an honor that Pablo think on me about for writing or to share our common ideas on how the speech could be. But was a challenge, because we were not trying to reinterpret, but we get an inspiration from the speech, right? But my great challenge or my great goal was trying to answer that question you made before, that why to feel proud about being Roma, right? Because all the anti-Gypsy rhetoric is you should feel bad about being Roma. There's nothing to be proud of being Roma. And when there's the definition, what the definition of being Roma is, what's the definition of Roma culture? That were my question, no? It is normal to find empty words to define our culture, our people, our history. It's like they love freedom, or they love their parents, or they, come on, that's nothing. So I try to find that common ideas or common feelings to make proud, because to answer that question, why feeling proud? Because we are all this. We are all this tradition. We are also future. We are also peace. We are culture. We are all these artists. We are maybe one of the most greatest cultural contribution in the world. We are unique when we make something. Roma signature is different to anything. So we were trying to find this Roma signature to make the Roma, like Alina said, worthy of, dignified of being Roma. That was my objective, and that's where I try to find the inspiration from the Chaplin speech.
One thing that strikes me about it is so much of what we do when we're activists or journalists or artists from Romani communities, we're always saying what we're not. We're always saying we're not criminals, we're not vagabonds, we're not thieves, we're not fairies that float down the highway with a tambourine. Yes, I know, shocking, isn't it, Alina? Well, that's what's so powerful about it. And one of the things that we say as well is that we're not gadget. You know, one thing I love about what you've done is it is so positive. It's like you took the essence of flamenco, the pride that there is in flamenco, and you turned it into words. And is that what did you have that in your mind, that you wanted to make a positive statement rather than respond to negative ones?
Yeah. One thing is clear. It's what is to be Roma. To be Roma, it's something that's very difficult to explain. But because you are Roma, you have fewer chances in life. Life is really more difficult to you because being Roma. But if you ask any Roma, he or she will say, "I'm proud of being Roma." So there is a lot of positive things to build your identity by being Roma. So that's the things that I try to speak only positive things, because we feel positive things of being Roma. That's the idea of Roma writing or Roma making, because we really feel the positive aspects of the Roma identity. So based on our identities, that's how I try to write it.
Excellent.
We need to the show into the whole history, because it's not many people know. I don't know with our history, and the legends, and to the minority and most long to the Europe, when it's necessary, and this is the briefing to the ERIAC, and the campaign is very important for to write into the speech, because it's the building to the speech with the brief for interesting for ERIAC and the campaign, because they are important for the Roma people. But for me, as important too is the showing to the non-Roma people to where we are, and the speech connect to the old tribute for the speech Great Dictator. This is the final, when Alina to see in the camera. This Alina is amazing for the character. After I need to speak for why this Alina the Roma dignity, but the last word to the connected to the same word to the speech the Great Dictator. For me, it's very important to the Roundtable the speech to connect on the final the same, and when you say the Great Dictator love said, and this is around, because it's a great idea, because it's rounding the goal to the love, and when you in commercial, when you're marketing, when you connect to the same word, it's very important for me, because it's you take emotional, you feel, and other people we don't know to say it. For me, it's very important for the last word to same the same words and speech the Great Dictator. And another question I would like to why the Roma dignity is a female, for me, it's very important. Female is for me, and the Roma female is the stranger, is the resistant, and the Roma people, and the history. The females, the Roma family is the resistant on the whole story, and other represent to the strength and rest of the history of the Roma people. And the first moment, I thought for Alina, I go, wow, please, Alina, please, I won't lie to this character, and Alina is amazing in the performance, I think is very, very, very happy for the character and the performance. This is amazing, because it's very difficult. You stay to 9 times to only one camera and different discords to she is it to the camera. That is really, really. Thank you very much, Alina.
It's
a pleasure.
One of the best lines I like in it is where Chaplin is described as the great dictator of love, and he's kind of commanding us through Alina to all love each other, which I think is powerful, really, really powerful. My next question is to Anna. Anna, what do you hope the Proud Roma Free Europe campaign achieves?
Well, the Proud Roma Free Europe campaign is a campaign that aims to instill pride and boost self-esteem among Roma, not only in the context of the censuses, the national censuses which have been taking place during 2021 and also this year as well. This is, of course, an important aspect because we want to encourage the public expression of Roma identity, right? The public declaration of Roma identity, which is what you mentioned, Jake, that the identity of Roma has been stigmatized and problematized so many times that Roma many times as a strategy of building protection and a strategy of resistance almost, hide the identity just to be, making sure that we are not targeted by hate which surrounds us. So we want to make sure that we show collective power through public expression of our identity as Roma during the censuses. But beyond the censuses that take place in many European countries, it's really important that we change the conversation about Roma. We change the language, the very vocabulary that we use when we talk about our identity and our culture. We stop talking about problems, about marginalization, about exclusion, which are of course part of our everyday lives, but we need to remind ourselves about the beauty, the heritage, the talent, the resilience, the strength that lives in our communities. And we know this, but we maybe are not reminded of this enough. So we really hope that we start to do what Alina mentioned. We realize that being a Roma is an added value for ourselves as people, for our communities, but also for the society at large. So we hope that with the campaign, through the different activities that we do, we steer the discussion about Roma to a different direction. And most of all, we hope that we, our community members all across the world, will feel inspired and proud and powerful to go out and say, yes, I'm Roma, and I want you to know about this, and they will confront the injustices, and that we also do this collectively. And I think what was so remarkable about, the film that Pablo created together with Gonzalo's speech is that it talks so powerfully about what brings us together, across the different communities, nationalities, religions, dialects, that is part of our richness of our big diaspora, but they really highlight the things that bring us together. And I think we need to build on this collective power as a community going forward.
Absolutely. The other thing I'd like to ask you is what's at stake for the Roma from the perspective of arts and culture with these censuses? I mean, often when we think of censuses, we think, it's numbers that will have an impact on schooling or education or employment. But from an arts and culture perspective, why is it important that as many of us as possible declare who we are and that those numbers feed through?
Well, I mean, very much, quite a lot is at stake. One thing is that we need to recognize that Roma heritage is national and European heritage and national and European treasure. And it should be treated as such. But unfortunately, we do know that it's not treated as like that. And all Roma cultural creators, but also the status of Roma culture has been many times put into a corner, labeled as low art or frankly, marginalized or discriminated in different spaces. And we are lacking, resources, venues, institutions that promote Roma arts and culture, but also majority spaces that are open to accepting us. And I think that the fact that we speak in numbers and, also politics is a game of numbers, and we need to recognize that the more we are, the more powerful we may be seen in the eyes of those that make decisions, but also in the eyes of those who finance, for example, arts and culture products, or who open spaces to Roma arts and culture. And this is one context, but I think also more specifically, we need to consider, the context of COVID-19 and how the pandemic has affected arts and culture in general. And for the Roma, as in every other aspect, the pandemic has, affected us much more powerfully than the majority society. And Roma cultural heritage and Roma arts and culture producers, frankly speaking, are at risk, and are endangered for being able to continue to produce high quality content for our communities, but especially for the majority. So I think it's really important that we all come together and use different strategies. And arts and culture is, I think, the most powerful strategy really to change attitudes of ourselves, but also of the majority. So I think if we manage to do this effectively and see our community as a resource that we can work with together, and really build a sense of collectivity and a sense of solidarity among ourselves, that we are not just one single person trying to fight the injustices of the world, but we are a large community with potential and with leverage. So I hope that, and we hope that the work of the Proud Roma campaign, and more broadly the work that ERIAC is doing, will try to make, you know, a significant step in that direction.
Fantastic, fantastic. We only have a couple of minutes left before our half an hour is up. But one of the things I love about the film is that it uses positive affirmations about our culture in order to say something. So I wondered, if, just to round this off, if you could each think of one of those qualities: family, peace, resistance, courage, culture, justice, hope, freedom, or love. If you could each take one and think of the personal associations that you have within your communities. Let's go 30 seconds. Let's start with Alina.
Love. I felt loved when my brothers like Pablo, Gonzalo wrote to me, like Anna, to invite me in this story. I felt their love, and thank you so much for having me in the story and for seeing me.
Okay, fantastic.
I felt seen.
Okay, we've got about 30 seconds left, so I'm just going to go for Pablo as the director. Choose one of those and tell us what it means to you.
Well, for me, it's true. The love is the bigger, no? The love is family. The love is heritage. The love is culture. The love is the move the world. You know, when you make it love, or you're working in love, you all feel too very well. You know, when this world, we need to love. No, Martin Luther King just says always to just do words in love. No, and the Roma people, the Roma people is love, and this is the unite all things. You know, I hope to that this film. I mean, the young people, the young Roma people, to sharing and the artists to Roma people. I would like to unite the same and the Afro-American people when they unite, when you say to against to the racists and against to the other injustice, and then the Roma people, we need the same. No, we need to unite all together. And in Spain, in Hungary, in Romania, in Ireland, in Germany, together we go to we are the power. No, with the same in the film. No, I think it's that this film. I would like this. No, the viral, the sharing all to forget, because it's working very hard for ERIAC, for me, for all team. But this film is the all people, you know, the all Roma people. We pro Roma. We need to the Roma pride for who we are, no.
Absolutely.
And then is for me is love.
Okay, brilliant. It seems unfair just to give two of you the opportunity, so I'm going to go to you next, Gonzalo. Which of those, let me remind you: family, peace, resistance, courage, culture, justice, hope, freedom, or love? Which would you choose, and what are your associations with it?
I also think about love, but to add something, I would say pride, where Roma is pride, because in spite of all the negative things charging in the anti-Roma rhetoric, we remain proud of who we are. Like the text said, no, we are Roma, we are proud Roma. So pride.
Okay. Good stuff. Anna, are you going to go for love as well? Is it going to be love wins the day?
I think love is the word of the day, definitely, but I think I would say community and family, which is almost, it's very similar one to the other, because I mean, I quite on personal level, and I've been lucky enough to have lived in many different countries, and I am also lucky enough to have a huge family, and there is so much power and so much inspiration coming from that. And as a person that has lived in different places and worked with different Roma people in different countries, the conversation many times starts with, what is your family like, and what is your culture like? But then after a couple of minutes, you realize that these are your cousins. And even in our language, when we refer to people that are your peers, that you may not know very well, but you know that they are Roma, you call them primos, or you call them brala, you call them brothers, right? And to people that are elders in our communities, we call them bibi or kako, we call them uncle or aunt or grandma, grandfather, because we just feel that there is a broader sense of community, and so much power has come from that. And I think that there has been so many attempts at fragmenting us and putting us apart, and we need to restore that sense of community and all the power, resources, the resistance that comes from that. And our history, the long history of our struggles is also how we may manage to overcome because of the community and the family that we have. So I think, taking a step back and looking at this as something so tremendously beautiful is something really powerful, not only for ourselves, but also for the majority. So I think that we should talk about this, we should be open about how our families are, how our community is, because I'm pretty sure that in a society that's so polarized, so fragmented, and so, kind of looking inwards, we need to show examples of, how you can make community differently while appreciating the diversity, the different points of view, the different generations. There's a way of, finding a consensus to this. And I think this is something we should share.
Absolutely. Yes, so I mean, it's quite fitting, isn't it, that this is a kind of a European Romany co-production, all the way from Bucharest to Madrid, via Berlin and many other places as well. We do have a little bit more time, more than I thought. So there was one other question I wanted to ask, which is probably a common struggle or a common challenge that we face wherever we are in Europe, which is that we know when you look at something like Netflix, or when you look at mainstream television, that there is an ongoing fascination with Romany culture. You see that in the amazing statistics of people who watch things like Peaky Blinders, or horrible television series like Big Fat Gypsy Weddings, which I know there are spin-offs of in many European countries. And this is a question which is probably one towards the future, which is, how do you each individually in your own countries, how do you navigate that difficult territory of kind of almost raising the stereotypes that there are about us without reinforcing them? I was struck by that when I was speaking to you, Alina, where you said that, because you choose not to exoticize your culture, you're never going to be as kind of maybe as widely accepted or even as commercially successful as somebody who would. And so I think that's an interesting question for everybody going forward from this film, in terms of we'll all go away, we'll all make other things, and it's a struggle I know that I face, I know that other people face. So how do you do that? Let's start with Alina. How do you explore the stereotypes about our culture without reinforcing them? It's a very difficult line to tread.
I try to be truthful first to myself. I am trying to tell stories that are important for my soul, that are first giving me some sort of healing, and then I hope and do my best that it will give healing to others. But I start with myself, with what's important for me to tell the world. Mm-hmm. And then coming from a traditional background, I know the stereotypes, the big stereotypes, the early marriages, and I myself have to first judge my own, let's say, writer head, to definitely not choose exactly how you mentioned it, not choose the exoticism just to play an easy card for people to like me. So I take another route, a long one, and sometimes full of doubts and worries. The long one is, I firstly want to be seen as a human. And then from that humanity and that need to express my humanity, I deliver the specificity of my experience as a Roma, and then the universal aspect of being a human. But it's only by staying true to myself, always with the risk of not being a commercial hit.
Okay. Let's just go quickly to the 30 seconds if we could, because we are running out of time. Gonzalo, how do you do that? How do you not reinforce stereotypes?
Well, after Alina's words, that's difficult to, but I also try to be faithful. I don't see my Roma identity on other sides. That's my belonging. I have my codes. I don't have the codes, outside codes to express or to measure my Romanipé or who are how a Roma should be, or a Roma is that. I learned how a Roma is from my family, from my people, from my friends. There's no stereotypes there. So that's my codes come from inside, not from outside. That's what I try to do.
Pablo, 30 seconds.
I think it's possible to change in the stereotype when then to opportunity and the Roma people art to show to the other forms, to show to the other arts, to show to the vanguard, to show to the story, Roma story through, because when make it all time to the non-Roma a story, the Roma is the stereotype all time, We need to opportunity. Is very important for the ERIAC, the opportunity at the young artists, at the avant-garde to artists, and the different two culture Roma people. And this is a step by step. But we need this moment. We need this is the same. I'm fighting to the feminists. This we need to do the same. We need to the opportunity and the exclusive class or Roma people. We need to opportunity, and the Netflix. We got to the show to the Roma and directing Roma and the actor Roma and different. Maybe the story is the same and the human story, because maybe is the look up to other form. Okay. The look at to maybe feel different. This is the change. We need it. I don't remember the director, American director, Afro director, very famous.
Spike Lee,
no? Spike Lee changes too, no? We need the same. We need to the support for institution, the support for the society, for making this,
Okay. Thanks, Pablo. And I'm going to give the penultimate word to you. Arts and culture are a way in which people can liberate themselves. What's ERIAC going to do to not reinforce stereotypes?
Absolutely, creating counter narratives is absolutely key. And the way we do this is based on a number of principles that actually guide ERIAC's work throughout everything we do. And one of these principles is of self-representation and Romani leadership. And this is what already was mentioned by previously, that we need to tell our own stories in first person. And this is absolutely essential. And this is what we try to do. And the other principle that guides ERIAC's work is the principle of highest quality. And this is not difficult to achieve because there's so much talent and so many creative, beautiful, brilliant minds in our community. They just need the resources and the opportunity to do it. So I think that we need to show that the stories we have to tell are worth telling and that we are able to tell them in the highest quality possible. And I'm sure that this can create a different counter story to what has been told about us and hopefully create opportunities for others in the future.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, great words to end on. So thank you everybody for joining us this evening. We hope that you have enjoyed Proud Roma and Manifesto of Love Against Hate. It is high quality. It is our own story. It is told by a team from across Europe, but we need you to share it. We need you to share it online. It's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on Facebook. We want it on Twitter. We want it absolutely everywhere. So if you like what you've seen tonight, if it's plucked your heartstrings and made you feel some love for yourself and your own community, please share it, send it to your friends, get them to send it on. My name's Jake Bowers. Thank you very much for our wonderful panel, Pablo, Gonzalo, Alina, and Anna. And I'm just going to say goodbye, and I'm going to start sharing it across the internet right away. So many people.
Jake, please let me 10 seconds, please.
Go on then.
I would like to thank many people for bigger team and building this project. No, many people to working for altruists for this project, for the cause. Many, I think, thank you so much. The music is the Federico Jusic, is very important in this film. Is the great musician. Is altruist for that, and my DOP Raquel Fernandez Nucci, altruist of that. My producer Bosalai, Pablo Zorrilla, Felipe Salas, working together. Working for 5 months. This is very hard work because it's the little record, we need to pay the favors. And thank you so much for ERIAC for the support, for reports, the principal for Anna. Anna is love it. Anna is a friend. It's all the together is a friend. And thank you so much for support for this project. I hope to share into the world. And thank you for my heart.
That felt just like an Oscar acceptance speech, and I'm obviously seeing the future there. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Please share it. And yes, good night from London, Bucharest, Madrid, and Berlin.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Nice to meet you.
Nice.
Proud